click the here. You are live, it says on my screen here. Mom, say hi.
Oh, hello. Hello. We are live.
Can y'all hear us? You hear Mom?
What?
I was talking to them. Can y'all hear us? Can you hear Mom? Yes. Sorry. Didn't mean to. Here we are. Okay. We are back, everyone. Yes, people are commenting in the comments section. And because of the way we're doing this, you can actually you can both be online in the comment section, not now, but if you wanted to, as well as speaking on the phone. All right. How are you doing, Mom?
Well, let the truth be known. Okay, I'm just going to tell it like it is.
All right. Well, we would expect.
I'm still having a little bit of post-traumatic stress
from last week. Okay, well, why don't we start with that? I mean, we have the story that that we're prepped to tell, but we were supposed to tell it last week, and so I, just rehash exactly what happened. We were here. It was about this time, exactly 7 days ago, and I was babbling like this as I tend to do an intro, blah 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 blah, and then I hear on the phone something, and you're like, I have to go. So what exactly happened? Start from there and lay it out for us. Well, this will be a twofer. They'll get two stories for one. What happened last week? All right, so let's start with that.
Well, what happened was at that point where I had to leave, my neighbor from across the hall, her door is 2 steps from my door. She came over banging on my door and screaming, "Help me, help me, Bonnie, help me, help me." And of course, I left the podcast. Anyway, I opened the door and she came in, and she has a live-in, I'll call it a boyfriend, who was beating her and wanting to kill her. And she managed to escape and come to my door.
What did he know where she was? Was he in the hallway too, or he didn't know where she went?
Well, she managed to run out of her apartment and slam the door behind her, and then she got into my door.
Timing.
So after she came in and we locked the door, then he came out in the hall in front of my door and started beating on my door. Anyway, I gave Nancy my cell phone. She called 911 right away. It always feels like forever when you need the police, right?
Well, yeah.
It was only really a matter of maybe about 5 minutes before the police arrived. But what happened was he was out there screaming and banging on my door. And my fear was he could have kicked that door open with one kick. This building is 100 years old, and that door is hollow,
flimsy particle board.
It's just that,
yeah,
like particle board practically. Anyway, to make a long story short, Nancy screamed through the door, "The police are on the way! The police are on the way!" And at that point, he took off. When he heard that, he left. And then the police arrived, and everything unfolded from there. But what happened was Nancy stayed with me. We helped calm her down, give her some support. And the police, there were like 4 cops who came into my apartment to get the whole story, information about him, where he could be, his vehicle description, all that stuff. Well, they apprehended him within, I want to say, at least about probably an hour and a half, 2 hours at the most. They found him.
How did they find him?
He had run to a close friend of his to his house, and Nancy knew who his close friends were. So the police followed up on all of that.
Well, they went
there, and his vehicle was there, and they apprehended him.
Well, didn't you say he called you before they caught him? Didn't you say he called you? Called your phone?
Yes, he called me on my cell phone while the police were there. And the police told me to put my phone on speaker so they could hear everything he was saying. Then the police fed me questions to ask him. which he revealed certain information about where he was, and he didn't know the police were listening on my phone. Then the officer said, "Let me have your phone and let me talk to him." So the cop told him, you know, "We want your side of the story of what happened here. We want to talk to you. Where are you?" So he actually gave them the location of where he was.
So he told them, he gave clues and hints while he was talking to you, but he told them where he was, so they went to get him.
Right. And so, the cop went out and got in their car, and they were on the radio getting instructions, and that's how they were able to find him so fast. But oh, I'm telling you, it's surreal. I've never had an experience like that ever before. And then after the fact, when things calm down, and now I look back on it, every single step of the way, God's protection.
Hmm.
We're living in a world that is just saturated with this kind of violence, and to have it come through my door like that. Oh my goodness. But Nancy's doing well. She did learn that his mother bailed him out, of course. Mommy Dearest bailed him out. So he did get out. And then last Saturday, just for some more follow-up on this, last Saturday, I got up and looked out through my deck. Mike knows how my deck faces the back where all the garages are.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a Ford pickup backed up with a small U-Haul trailer right in front of my deck. And I looked down, and there was a guy out there, and it did not look like her boyfriend. However, I waited a few minutes, and all of a sudden, he came out the back door to the trailer in the truck with this other guy. And I thought, oh my goodness. And then, just a few seconds after that, 2 police officers came out the back door. So what this was the judge ordered a police escort while he came over here to retrieve all of his personal possessions. He had to remove everything.
Get him out.
From her garage, from the apartment. But there were 2 police officers supervising it. And I thought, oh, what a week. What a week.
So just to let everybody know, the day in the life of Miracle Mom. It's a lot of boring ho-hum, and then punctuated by crazy stories, or crazy real life true mom is in the center of some whirlwind.
Well, we all sit around and realize there are people going through all this kind of trauma every day. And it's just horrific. I can't even find words to describe it. How this could have turned into we all know, a total disaster, a horrible crime. But God's protection just seemed to be there for every single move we made. And I give him the glory for that.
Well, amen. And as I meditate on it, think about it, it's what we're here for, right? We're here to be an angel to someone in need, right? To be ready.
Yeah.
Not to, when you hear that pounding on your door, to hear the Spirit, right? What the Spirit tells you, open up, right?
Because God said, open the door. I was not in fear, right? Because it was her. I knew who it was. But God said, open the door. Just like that. As if he was standing right next to me. Get up and open the door. That's why I had to leave. Just being obedient. Go. And
that's the thing. It's like you were engaged in something that you'd been planning, right? Okay, we're right. The big launch, the relaunch of this. And so we can be bogged down and distracted by our plans. Many of the plans in a man's heart, but it's the Lord's purpose that prevails. The fact that it was a no question, I mean, you couldn't exactly ignore a knocking on your door, but that you readily did. Like it was, you were responding readily to the prompting of the Lord, and God used you. And that's what we're all here, right? To be sensitive to what God calls us to in any given moment, regardless of our plans, regardless if we have something else on our schedule, being able to respond rather than in the flesh, respond in the spirit. So thank you, Mom, for that example that you've set for me in my life. I do take after you genetically in a lot of ways, but that's you're my, not just my physical mom, but my spiritual mom. So I'm blessed.
Well, I want to thank everybody who's watching and listening, anyone who knew about it and was involved in it that prayed. I thank God for your prayers. There's power in prayer.
Amen.
You know, we say that like a cliche, but there is power in prayer. And God's going to respond immediately if you pray.
Amen.
In a situation like that. Anyway.
Good preaching, Mom.
Nancy's fine. Nancy's okay.
She's good.
Okay.
Good. Well, all right. So that's story one. And I think I may have heard this story of who is Linda Late. Now, first of all, what does this mean? Why are we talking about Linda Late? Why is it even a question? Linda Late is the name, is your pseudonym that you used for the other podcast, right? So Mindful Masa, which I instructed producer Gina to put the link in the description below to that podcast. I don't know if it actually is. I'll make sure it gets into the description below for anybody that wants to go listen. You did how many episodes? It's like 20, 15 or 20.
We did it for about 6 months, and it wasn't something that was like scheduled on a certain day every week. Let me preface all of it first by saying I have been blessed by 2 wonderful sons. I have another son named Phil. Phil has an amazing, amazing gift and intellect for technology. Phil is the go-to guy. If I could give you his phone number and his address and you need help with anything, internet especially in 2025, he's the guy you go to. This whole podcast, Mindful Masa, he's the one who pitched it to me, which was a job. It was difficult, but he did it. He said, "Come on, Mom, you can do this." He produced it. He edited every single one. He came here to my home, spent a day to give me a crash course in how this is all going to work. That's what he did. And I want to tell you, it is now one of the most wonderful places in my life, with the fun memories of doing that with Phil. I give him 100% all the credit. It was really fun and something that I can hang on to and share with anybody else. It really just was wonderful. He just gets all the credit. He's a great guy. He loved doing it, and he sure had a lot of patience with his mother, let me tell you. Anyway,
well, Carrie in the comments says, "Thank God for Phil. It's a great podcast." And it is a great podcast. And I am grateful that you guys did it. And I know you had a list of stories that you didn't get to. And that's something that's on my mind for doing this, for launching this. And so every week, that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk to you, Mom, and get some stories out of you. We're going to get some stories out of you. And so without further ado, and this is about roughly a half an hour episode, so you got about 15 minutes left. But if it goes over, don't worry, take your time. If it goes under, don't worry, it doesn't matter. We're not really constrained by the bottom of the top of the hour cutoff. So without further ado, Linda Late, was the name that you put on Mindful Masa as the narrator, as yourself. But tell us, who is Linda Layton? Why did you pick that?
Okay, why did I pick that? Well, only one more comment. In Phil's teaching me, that was one of the emphasis, content. Now we're going to pay attention to content. So, it became important in my picking the title for the podcast. And then also, we talked about it, and Phil and I had a discussion. He said, well, you want a pseudo name. You don't want to use Bonnie Creighton because that's pretty, Bonnie Creighton's just a name. You want to draw some attention. So think about a name that you would like to use. So that's what started this whole thing. So I gave it some thought, and then I remembered in growing up in my hometown, we lived in a village of 5,000 people, and my mom and dad, we were raised on a residential street, of course, and across the street from us was my mother's best friend. They were best friends, and what happened was in 1944, Mom and her best friend, they both got pregnant at the very same time. They got pregnant at the same time. So they're sharing, how their pregnancies are going along the way. And then the time came where what my mother told me was she had picked out names for girls, and the name she wanted for me was Linda. She wanted to name me Linda. So she held on to that, but she never shared that information with her best friend. I don't know why. That's just the way it went. Anyway, what ends up happening is my mom's best friend went into labor 4 days before my mother gave birth to me. So her best friend comes home. My mom goes over
to see
the baby.
For clarification, they both got pregnant in 1944, and this is when she was pregnant with you. You have 3 brothers and a sister. So this
right.
And where do you fall in line? How many?
I'm the 4th child.
4th child. Got it. All right.
The first girl in the family. Okay. So her best friend comes home from the hospital. My mom goes over to see the baby, and her friend says, "Oh, look at this beautiful baby girl, and we named her Linda." We named her Linda. And my mother at the time, well, she was happy for that, but she came home and thought, well, my very best friend named her baby Linda. I wanted to name my baby Linda. And I don't know why, what was going through my mom's mind. It's just that she decided, well, that didn't seem to work for her. 2 Lindas and such close friends.
Mm-hmm.
And both girls being Linda and growing up together.
And she would be seen as the copycat.
Yeah.
and the potential of ruining the friendship, right? The potential
maybe turn into a fight later.
Right.
Lose their friendship. Who knows? But anyway, so my mom decided, well, no, I'm gonna have to sacrifice what I wanted to do.
Mm.
I'll name this one Bonnie. This will be Bonnie. So that as they grow up together, there's no confusion, no fighting, none of that drama. So the reason I called it Linda Late is because my mother's best friend, naming her baby girl Linda, made it too late for my mom to name me Linda. Do you get it?
Yes. Excellent.
Linda, I could have said Linda too late, but it was Linda Late. That's what it means to me. That's my story.
And did you come up with the late part right when Phil was asking for a name, or is that something you thought about before? You kind of.
Oh, I thought about it before, and then when I shared it with Phil, he said, you got it.
Yeah.
That's how you go about this pseudonym stuff. And we all know in Hollywood, everybody uses pseudonyms, and authors use pseudonyms.
Pen names, yeah.
You know, how do they come up with their pseudonyms? Anyway.
So there's the origin story of Mom's pen name, her pseudonym, her stage name for the podcast Mindful Masa. Well, there's more, a little bit more to this, Linda. So actually, let me ask you. I mean, your name is Bonnie, and you're happy with that, but have you always had now an affinity for the name Linda because of that? Or when did you learn this story?
What?
Have you had an affinity for that name? Has it just, it's like, oh, I was almost named Linda. I like that name. I wish I'd been a Linda. Do those thoughts ever cross your mind?
Well, not in any obsessive way, but it did turn out that Linda, my mom's best friend, and I were best friends all the way through school. You know,
so your mom's best friend's daughter, Linda, and you became friends, close friends.
Oh, yeah, we were best friends. She was one of my best friends all the way through school.
Is that there on Knox Street?
Yes.
Because
2 Knox Street,
I'm
New York.
I'm grateful to have lived there myself, so I can picture it, right? And
oh yeah,
it's I mean, I was and having lived there at a time where I could remember it. It wasn't when I was 2 or 3. I was like 8, 9 years old when we lived there. So I have nothing but fond memories of that street, that neighborhood, that town.
Oh, it was wonderful growing up where I grew up.
Then fast.
I remember asking my mom, well, you chose Bonnie. Am I named after a relative, or why did you pick that name? She said, well, it really was just because I liked the name. I liked the name Bonnie, so I named you Bonnie. People have asked me over the years, is your name really a version from an Americanized version from Bonita?
Oh, Bonita, yeah. Bonita is beautiful or pretty, yeah.
I think that's an Italian. I don't know. I'd have to Google it and look it up. But there is Bonita, and sometimes people will say, "Is your real name Bonita?" You know how people play with their names.
Yep.
No, I'm Bonnie.
Bon.
I'm not Linda.
Bon for short. Do you have people they call you Bon?
Bon.
Bon.
High school. Bon.
Well, then fast forward, you marry this guy, and lo and behold, even though she had already passed away and you never met her, but his mother's name was
Linda.
Right?
His name was Linda. Yes.
So my paternal grandmother is Linda. And then you had your firstborn child,
Michelle. Oh, her middle name is Linda. Yes. So I guess that name is following me around.
It's wrapped all around you, right? And Linda means the same thing as bonita. Linda in Spanish. Linda is Spanish, and bonita is pretty, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And I didn't think of that ahead of time. That just occurred to me now.
Well, see how pretty I am?
You are.
Looking at how pretty I am.
You're beautiful. On that, actually, what? How old are you? How old are you in this picture, by the way?
Oh, that picture was taken in 2000. The early 2000s.
All right, so you're 60 plus, just over. You're in your early 60s. Yeah. Okay. All right, I'm 50.
Not bad, huh?
I'm 56 as of when was my birthday? Saturday. What was my birthday? At some point. All right, catching up.
Second.
Well, actually, let me tell you. On my birthday, at the end of the night, very end of the night, Zeke, I don't know if he was out and came in or was saying good night, and he goes, how old are you now? 56? 56? And I go, yeah. He goes, that's all? And I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Yeah, I know.
That's all.
Yeah,
Oh,
the gray.
he has no idea.
Nah.
He has no idea.
He's only 19. He's only 19. He's
I know.
so young, has the whole world ahead of him. I was going to say another thing. Well, I thank you, Linda. I'll call you that, right? Thank you, Miracle Mom, Linda Late, Bonnie, Bon, Bonita. I thank you for telling us that story. Do you have something in mind for next week? Just to kind of tease, do you have a story that you want to tell next week?
Well, I haven't zeroed in on one in particular yet. I'm still a little bit whirling around in some traumatic stress, but that will begin today. I will begin today asking that question.
All right, because
so I can't give you a tease.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Then let me give you the assignment now. Have a tease. Try and plan 2 weeks ahead of time.
Oh, okay. All right.
This is producer me.
That's what Phil would say.
Yeah.
Okay.
So obviously we'll have it picked by next Wednesday. We'll have something in the title that indicates what the next episode will be about, but also think ahead to the following week. And don't handcuff yourself. Like if you've already told stories on Mindful Masa, but you want to tell it again, that's fine. I know you have a lot of stories that you didn't tell, but as you're planning it, don't, just be a blank slate. Whatever the Lord puts on your heart, bring that.
Exactly. That's what I do. Lord, give it to me. And he does.
Amen.
So
before we sign off here, I just want to point out a few things for our fan base who are watching. As I'm looking at my side of the screen, it is the same background that I always have, but I just want to point out one thing that I didn't point out. I know I pointed out last week that right over my left shoulder, this is my left, it looks to the right on the screen, but I have the Rancor from Star Wars Return of the Jedi. And then above that, I have in the package still an R2D2 action figure, but also B-88, I think, is from one of the newer Star Wars movies. But for Lucas, this is over my right shoulder, which appears on the left of the screen. Lucas will probably recognize this, and maybe some other people will recognize. I have a baseball autographed by Ronnie James Dio. And you're like, who's that? And it's an official autograph. Wow. It's a limited series, number 1888. And where's the autograph itself?
Okay, that means nothing to me.
I know. It's not visible. It's still in the packaging and everything, but this was given to me by the way, a guy that I just started up a conversation with at a store where he sells posters and stuff. And I bought a couple posters, and he's like, we had talked music, and he just handed it to me. So there we go. Oh, let me just one other comment that somebody asked in the comment section. Is that an OG R2D2? This is not an OG. This is not an original packaging because it's a one package with both the robots. It's more recent. I used to have, I don't know if you remember this, Mom, quick story at the end here. I used to steal money from your purse to go buy Star Wars action figures.
Oh, I want the money back.
That back then they were like $2.50 or $3 for each one of them. So I take a $5 out of your purse and go down to the store, and I bought the original R2D2 and Luke Skywalker.
And more shall be revealed.
And I was so short-sighted that I played with them. I was so short-sighted that I played with them. I actually played with them and ruined them, and then they got left in a garage or whatever. But So I now, if I ever buy them, I don't take them out of the package. All right. Good episode. Time is up.
Well, thank you all. Thank you all for showing up and keep coming back.
Yes, keep coming back. We'll be here. Love you guys. Love you, Mom.
Love you too.
I'm going to sign off, and then I'm going to have you say goodbye to Zeke. He's in the other